Hey everybody, today's podcast is sponsored by Sheath Underwear. If you haven't seen Sheath Underwear, I'm actually wearing a pair right now. Jimbo, tell them about it. What do you think? Jimbo doesn't have a mic on. But he's speechless because Sheath Underwear is good for your D. And do you guys know Sheath?
No. Now I know.
Now you know.
But I'm interested in Sheath. Tell me more.
Sheath Underwear, and I'll show you in a second. It has a little pouch for your balls and your shaft.
Yeah.
Right? And it keeps them from like rubbing up against your legs and it's like sweating. And especially you guys working out in the field, it could get a little hot. Sheath prevents that. It's comfortable. It's good looking. It's like life changing. Of all the sponsors I've had, like this is one where I actually get people like sending me mail saying like, that shit's awesome. And I've got probably, because they're awesome, like 10 pairs in my rotation out of 30. So about a third of my underwear is Sheath, and that will change as they send me more. Thank you, gentlemen. But if you guys use promo code SPEED, that's sheathunderwear.com/speed, you'll be able to save some money. And was it 25%, Jimbo? It's 25%. And who doesn't want 25% off your underwear? I assure you, if you don't want it, you send it over to me after you try it out and you don't like it. That's also right. Is that weird? Yeah, that's probably a little bit weird, but you're not going to get your money back. I can make a statement like that because I know you're going to love it. It's awesome. My balls are very happy right now, and yours could be too. So check out sheathunderwear.com/speed and try yours today. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, podcast 62. Got that right this time. It's the 60-second take, and we're there. So, I want to welcome, Glenn's actually not here tonight. Did you even tell him about it?
No, not at all.
All right, we forgot to tell Glenn about the podcast. So that was a failure on our end. But I did replace Glenn with two equally good gentlemen from the Rag Company.
That's us.
That's them. You guys can introduce yourself and sort of save me a lot of questions.
Okay.
Give me the 90 seconds on each and what you guys do.
Well, I'm Dane. I'm the owner's son. I'll just get that out of the way right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just get it out there and just don't make it weird for everybody.
I get a lot for that, but I think Anthony's got the pitch pretty well rolled up right now because he's usually the forward-facing guy. I'm the camera guy.
Am I the pitch guy? I can do the pitch. So I do media marketing for the Rag Company. So we do a lot of videos, and so YouTube, social media, that kind of is our biggest thing. Ultimately, we sell microfiber towels. So it's not super exciting when you make it sound like that, but our biggest niche is the detailing world. So we do a lot of things with auto detailing and all shapes and forms. So everything from like production detailing to niche detailing. People need towels. It's a tool people need, and believe it or not, people need direction when it comes to towels. So we have to teach people, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, how to use these towels.
That's the sales pitch.
And it kind of works out great. I mean, so we do a lot of detailing stuff, and a lot of our videos are revolved around that, but we do sell like on a retail site. We do Amazon stuff. But the biggest thing, like I said, is just kind of education. That's how we present ourselves, is educating people on how to use towels, how to make towels fun, I mean, in the best way possible. And so we do things through video, and we get to travel and get to do fun things. But yeah, I do a lot of stuff on social media. Dane here is our main camera guy. He does everything from our video production to recording and doing all of that stuff. He kind of makes the magic happen at the end of the day. So,
and I run our podcast, so that's kind of where I get to be the guy with the face.
Is this
on
a bad
that,
time to plug our own
yeah.
podcast?
No, plug the podcast.
No, I did it. I made a podcast.
No.
Sorry about
And
that.
your podcast is hosted where?
Shout Engine.
Shout Excellent.
Yeah. I
And
figured that out one
so
night from Farrah. So.
Shout Engine, and then iTunes, I take it?
Yeah. So it goes over there.
You guys want to be a little bit closer to the microphones.
absolutely.
Really kiss
Yeah,
those.
we're
Sorry.
really
I'm going to get on this. I will put my mouth on
there
this
you go.
microphone.
Yeah, so we run the Rag Company podcast, and we kind of divvied up. We have like a main show that we do every week just to keep things consistent, because if there's one thing I've learned putting out content online, it's consistency will bring people back more than any one particular interesting thing will. So
yeah, and
women.
you know what? Okay, there's maybe one.
That is true, but no, I mean that's a funny thing. Like we do I guess the cool part is we get to do things that no other, I guess, towel company, can do and get away with it. Like doing podcasts every week about towels. People think like, well, what the hell are you guys talking about? Towels every week. And,
spoiler alert, it's not about towels.
It's not about towels. It's kind of what we talk. We talk about our weekend. We talk about, I guess, relevant news stuff. We talk about pretty much everything you'd want to hear in a podcast, but just from the perspective of somebody else. Because, right, when you're listening to a podcast, you may not really even care what that person is saying. You just want that connection with just somebody else talking, right? Some people just like to listen to somebody talk. And I feel like that's a big part of a lot of people that listen to us that are in the detailing world. They just think that, listening to a detailing associated podcast, that's what they like to listen to. So it's cool. We have fun with it.
It's a niche, but we make it work for ourselves.
We do.
That's why we kind of come out to these different things. We kind of like to branch out into car stuff because detailing, it's fun, it's a niche, but at the same time, there's bigger worlds out there. There's other, areas you can expand to, and obviously,
so, Rob, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
what are we doing sitting at this table?
Well, I mean, this is a random podcast. This is sort of a shit show and whatever comes to my mind. I think you guys run a cleaner podcast than I do.
Okay,
actually,
that was a detailing joke.
Know.
Jesus Christ, the detailing joke went right over your head.
I don't. Well, it's not even the detailing jokes. I mean, we shoot the shit and we say whatever kind of comes to mind as well. We don't really plan it out. It's not really like a clean thing, and I think that's a big misconception. Is that a lot of people, when they listen to our podcast, they think it's planned out, or we have like a big whiteboard.
No, I don't think anyone does that.
With maps and drawings, and no, we pull it out of our butt, and we just talk the talk, and we see where it goes, and as long as we hit over an hour, we're typically pretty happy.
Well, anything that comes out of your butt tonight, please put it back in before you leave. So
okay,
it's not lying around my house.
We'll see what happens.
Or leave me a bunch of towels so I clean that shit up.
We could probably do that. I think we got some in the car. We'll drop some off.
Yeah. Well, let's talk the business of towels.
Yeah,
right.
Because that I find sort of interesting because I used to run the auto show circuit, and I've seen these like sham wow sort of guys slinging shit at the auto shows. What sort of marketing techniques work for you guys to move towels, and what has been the most effective?
Okay, I got you. I'm with you. So, like I said before, education. I don't know. I mean, how else to describe it? It's just that. So towels, there's to give you just a general rundown. We have 150 different types of microfiber towels, and people are like,
well, how do you choose?
How do you know, right? How do you know what color do I want for this? What style do I want for this? And we tell people that we've made so many towels because of how picky people are, and how many different styles of cleaning and detailing and different things for certain things, like whether you're doing polish removal or whether you're doing wax removal, whether you're spraying a quick detailer, it doesn't matter. And then there's also the different realms of beauty and makeup, and people are moving things on their faces, and it goes on and on and on. It's a very deep rabbit hole. But the biggest thing was just educating them and giving people direction, because we have a few different types of towels. They're the same towel. They're just a different color, but we have to give people a purpose behind it. So we say that this towel is a great metal polishing towel. And people say, okay, well, what makes that different? Well, we changed the color, and we want to give you direction saying that this is meant for metal polishing because we're going to get that question, and we have to answer it by that. So our biggest marketing, I guess, technique is through education. Being honest and open and being super transparent about literally anything and everything involving business, and we try to have fun with it.
Try and we minimize the bullshit pitch, typical stuff you're going to get out of a lot of folks. All they want to do is
make it fun, and it's obvious that we try to make it fun. And I don't know if it's because we're super passionate about what we do, but we like towels. We like to see people's reactions when they use towels because it's like, I don't know, it's things that we're doing and we're seeing a direct, I don't know, a response to that. And so we push something out, we see something cool happen, and we're like, oh shit, we did that. That's something that we did, and so we take pride in that. And I think that could be with a number of different businesses, right? But this just happens to be what we fell into and what we like doing.
Sure.
And so.
Yeah.
That's
you
pretty
should
cool.
Get a shirt that just says "I like towels."
See what kind of conversation
I could do that.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely start some interesting conversations.
Well, it'd be different. I think if I put I like rags, that'd be different. I think people would be off put by that. I don't think people would talk to me if I said that. We have a towel. We have a towel that says "Got Fiber" or a shirt that says "Got Fiber" on it. And
not the same. I'd be thinking weird. Like Cheerios or something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I have no breakfast cereal for you, my friend.
I think that's what
we can thank my dad for that one. He wanted to make that.
No, but like I like towels is like super. It's like the I like turtles kid. You're almost like a meme. It's like, okay, autistic person. Like, Let's talk about towels. Then.
Well, I can go out to like a club or something like that and go meet some girls just wearing this wearing this shirt, and she's like, "What's your shirt say?" I say, "I like towels." She's like, "Okay, are you special?"
Or if you're wearing a sport coat, it may just read, "I like owls." And then you'd be like, "Nope,
no, actually, didn't see this coming." But there's a T boom before that O, and so
I'd like to buy an O pack.
But no, So if you were to go to like a show or something, we don't do the whole. We're not like pitchy or anything like that. We won't go to like a show and say, "Look how absorbent this is," or light the hood on fire.
But that works.
It does. The reason we don't do that kind of stuff is we saw other people doing that and that works for them, and we just wanted to be different. We were trying to aim for something.
I mean, the goal is sales.
The goal is sales.
And then you take the fast talking Jimmy over there and you throw him at the table and let him sling it.
No question about it. Those guys can definitely. Those guys are good at what they do.
They're machines.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
There's like a natural born talent for that kind of thing, though.
Well,
I don't know about you. I'm not built for that.
I've worked the auto shows, and I see these guys do this spiel. Yeah. Like you see
people
the sales
eat it up.
process.
People eat it up. They like it.
But you just see it over and over and over again. You see how they get people in and how they convince them psychologically that they need this product in their life. And
if they don't leave with it today, they're gonna
I need this absorbent chamois. I can't leave this auto show or whatever this show is without this tube of 3 tubes of absorbent
What
chamois.
am I doing with my life if I don't
at the
leave
auto
with
shows,
this
you see that more than anything. You see people walking out with their bags. They have 2 bags of stuff. They're carrying it. They hand it to their other kid. And next the whole family's carrying bags of stuff and swag out of this auto show. And no, I mean, like I don't blame them, because when you're in the moment and you're there you're there to see everything around you. You're there to learn and all this stuff. And when you have somebody presenting something that maybe you haven't seen before that's new to you, you're gonna be impressed, and you're gonna say, whoa, what's that? I could use that, or I could figure out a way to maybe spend money or something. I don't know. There's when you're going to a show like that, I think there's a different mindset. And I know I've gone to a couple of those, or I've gone to an auto show and seen a guy cleaning shoes, right, with this shoe cleaner. I'm like, and he's like, "Want me to clean one of your shoes?" And I said, "Yes, I would love for you to clean one of my shoes." He cleans just one. He's like, "Well, I'm not cleaning the other, so you have to buy the stuff." And I said, "Damn right, I have to buy that stuff. I want my other shoe to look like that, so I'm taking that shit home."
Yeah,
I take it home, and I just don't get the same
nothing
results.
Like exactly.
I'm like, I don't know. He was using some stronger stuff, man.
You got to get him to at least do the first pair.
It's like going to Costco and getting a sample, and the sample always tastes better when you're at Costco and you take it home.
Well, you're hungry when you go to Costco.
That is true.
You got to negotiate when you go there. Like, you do the other shoe and it looks that good, I'll buy some.
I'm like, these
and then at least you get one pair of shoes cleaned.
Yeah. These bagel bites taste nothing like they did at Costco. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, these taste like freezer burn.
A little something on
but no, it's just, I guess ultimately it's just education, being honest and transparent, showing people different ways to do things, giving people options, and just having fun with it and being passionate about it. I think people see that. I think we get excited about towels, and we try to get other people excited about towels, and it kind of works. I mean, we see the response we get on social media through Instagram and things like that, and it's fun. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting and I bring up the business aspect because I talk about business a lot on the podcast, it's interesting to see the similarities between businesses, and it allows people to sort of realize that the process of business, whether you're selling seashells, hot dogs, or towels, is essentially the same, and it's the same game and the same hurdles or similar hurdles.
Absolutely.
That or there may be 30 hurdles that everybody faces, but then everybody has their own 10 hurdles that they have to get over that are unique to their space. So it's cool to see what works and what doesn't work, especially in the automotive world. It's a weird response to say we don't do that because we think it works. We just want to be different. So I wasn't expecting that. Usually it's like, we've tried it. It didn't work for our product, or like,
well. To start things off, I'll put it out there. When we were early on in the company, I was one of the first few employees. I was working in a garage. Like, the whole thing was just based in a garage. We've grown it up from there. So now what are we at? Like 60,000 square feet, 50,000 square feet or so.
I want to see you guys at the next auto show circuit. It starts in like October and it goes straight through April.
Oh, really? Okay.
So the auto show circuit bounces around the country. You got the people with their little toy cars for sale. You got the same vendors hitting up all these shows, And I'm not gonna lie, like I remember making a lot of money at auto shows, and like my very first auto show, I think I made like $15,000.
Oh, no
way! When I was like 22, I
Yeah.
made like 15 grand in a week, and I was like, I want to do this.
Got your attention.
Because like I never made a video before, I never had any idea what I was doing. I made one DVD, which I didn't even think was very good, to the point where I didn't even sell it. Sort of after that, when I came out with the next one, I'm like, oh, this is much more representative of what I want to sell, and. Just the fact that I made 15 grand in a week, I'm like, that's 1 week. I mean, I make that for like working the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things that I learned that, okay, there could be money to be made here. And I did the auto show circuit, or not the circuit, but the auto show at least 1 to 3 a year for probably the next like 6 or 7 years until DVDs sort of went out of style.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
well, I mean, so we go to SEMA, right? We did last year with SEMA was our first year, and that was, and again, that wasn't the whole snake oil pitch or anything like that. There's tons of people out there doing that kind of stuff, right?
SEMA's a trade show, it's an industry show,
and so there is people out there, presenting their product, and that's kind of how it works. You have people buying and selling constantly. So
we saw sizes, shapes, and forms when it came to that stuff.
And and what we did, we literally set up a booth, we put up a banner, we hung some towels up. And in being our first year at SEMA, right? They put you out in the boondocks. It's your first year. You're starting. We gotta.
You get the real serious
we gotta cut
people
our
that don't party show up out there.
it's us and then the BMWs that are drifting outside.
So so it was our first year out there, and they we were tucked away, but it was pretty crazy to see that there was no way to try out our towels other than just to feel them. Literally, just come up to them and feel them. How we were absolutely packed every single day. Booth was full. We lost our voices second day in, right?
Yep.
We were yelling.
Why you
talking.
hire the hookers?
That's exactly why you do that. And so we ran. I think Vegas ran out that weekend, and so
they generally do for trade shows.
So we'll have next year. Maybe we'll get lucky. But we So we had an awesome time, and that was great for us because we got to meet people that were genuinely interested in starting, I guess, a longer business relationship, and it was something that happened like that. It wasn't, and it was happened. Somebody came into the booth. We talked business. We talked about the towels, maybe about prices, margins, things like that. And then literally within an hour, we get a call from our operations manager back in Boise, and he says, hey, so that guy just put his order in. He literally put his order in just a minute ago for this much money. He wants to start distributing in wherever, the UAE or wherever in the world. And we say, wow, that was pretty fast turnaround and the start of something really cool. And so that's like a big thing for us. But we see a lot of people in the detailing industry going to the smaller car shows, right? They'll go to like the stance, all the different stance shows
the
around.
Dub shows
and that's the thing. Like we kind of talked earlier that, a lot of car people, they don't care about the way their car looks. They don't. And that's fine. That's
guilty
fine.
Of that?
You're guilty. We talked about this, and there's a lot of people that don't care about that because they don't see maybe what other people see, right? Because a set of wheels completely changes a car to somebody's eyes, right? They say that set of wheels is a completely different car, right? You tint the windows. That's a completely different car, but they don't see the difference between maybe a detail versus maybe something else. So they'll see the car's a little bit shinier and they say, oh, wow, this car's shiny. They'll run it through a car wash. It gets all scuffed up again. And then, that's the end of that.
Sure.
Shiny scratches.
So it's like, it's a different perspective. And I think a lot of the people out there that go to these car shows, they'll spend, hours and hours and hours wrenching on certain things, right? They'll replace all their little engine bay screws and bits with titanium things, right? Something that the most
nobody notices. The license plate bolts are like
the most minute little things, and they'll do all these things. And I say, what would have probably made the biggest difference if you would have gave that little wax and polish, done a little something to the paint, right? Because it looks like shit, and get it looking nicer. And that would have made a bigger difference maybe as a first impression of me walking by. And so that's kind of hard. So a lot of people in the detailing industry think that that's a great place to start is by going to those small shows. And I disagree. I think if you can reach people on a broader audience through social media, it's the biggest platform, obviously, whether you're doing Instagram, Facebook, yada, yada, yada.
That's the only reason we had people showing up in our booth was half of it was just folks wanting to actually come in and see the guys. I mean, see the guys who are doing the detailing stuff online. But
and that was a big thing. But no, I am also interested in business, and I like seeing how things work. And like I was saying, I like seeing how things work as a direct result of what I do. And when I see something like that happen, dude, I'm like jazzed. I'm like a little kid. I'm like, that happened because I did that. And it's really cool. And same thing with Dane. I mean, when we get a cool turner, a cool outreach on a video, right? So we did that video with Adam LZ, right?
Yep.
And Dane killed it on the editing. He did an awesome job. And seeing just what happened directly after that. So shout out to Adam for letting us, make that happen. That was an awesome video. But seeing it, the direct result of what we just tried to do there and what, let's just say what we did today with you, it's really cool. And we get to seeing that. And it's kind of like you putting out a video and you getting a ton of views.
So there's nobody out there going around with the rule book saying you have to make videos like this or like that.
Yeah, no, of course.
We just, saw a bunch of detailing videos out there and like, what if we try something different? We like an excuse to go do car stuff. So he wanted to go for a ride and he got to do that today.
Yep,
so,
and you guys have a format. We did a video today, which you guys can check out in their channel. It's the Rag Company.
Yeah. So it'll be out probably a month or so.
It'll be out. Yeah, this goes up this week, Jimbo. Yeah. So this one goes up, and you guys can check out my video with them on their channel. The outtakes are probably going to be much better.
Well, I think it's a fun fact about outtakes because I always pepper in one moment.
Yeah, one completely inappropriate.
We got like 7.
You could
10.
just run an extra. You could double the video with the inappropriateness that I drop.
That might be one of my favorite things to do on any of those.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check that out, you can check that out. We made the NSX look nice, and we took it out. We took it out for a little spin. So your first time in an NSX, right?
Yeah. So it was my first time, and so I feel like it was an NSX virgin. And, it feels.
You're knocking out a lot of cars.
Most virgins drive NSXs. So one of those things.
What are you trying? I thought you were married. I thought you had,
I am married.
What's going on? You have kids? What's going on? But no, it was my first time in an NSX, and what's really cool is about this the show we do, Wash Wednesday. It's a way to teach car owners proper wash techniques if they are interested in doing that. I mean, you picked up some stuff pretty
I
fast.
I forgot everything I did today already. I'm completely blacking out.
I'll send you a PDF file of pictures. But no, it's just it's a way to teach the owner maybe proper wash techniques if they do care about learning. If they don't, it's something they can use it and forget it. But it's also a way to clean the car, right? So you benefit from it. So you get a nice clean car. Most time it's just a wash. Today we went the extra step and did a polish and put some wax on it and made it look nice. But then following that is everybody, you'll see in a lot of detailing videos, you'll see a car, right? And you'll say, oh, that looks really cool. And you'll see it detailing. And then you're kind of wondering, what does that sound like? Or what does the inside look like? Or what does that drive like, right?
Sure.
Like you get all these questions. And as a person watching a YouTube video, you would go from watching maybe that car getting detailed to, maybe NSX detail to, what does that car sound like? NSX exhaust sound, right? Or NSX interior mods, or NSX, whatever. And you'll go through this whole list. And we figured, why let them, stray that far off? Let's get it all down in one show.
Sure.
Let's do it all in one and give people what they want. And so for a lot of people, they really like that. And for some people, it's that's too much information. That's you're stressing me out with all that stuff. But we try to make it fun, and today it was a cool example. We basically, what we ended up doing is we washed the car, right? So I showed you how to do a rinseless wash, which you get to use a little sprayer and some towels.
Pump sprayer. It doesn't have any batteries or anything like that.
No batteries. Yeah, there's a big misconception that our IK sprayers have pump batteries, and I try to tell people it's a pump. There's a pump on it. It's a pump sprayer.
They go, but where do you put the batteries?
You pressurize it.
You pressurize it by
with
pumping
your hand.
Yeah, that's just
good old fashioned.
Use your old
Swedish made.
Yeah, it was actually made in
Spanish,
Spain.
but
Spanish made. That's pretty close though. I'll give it to you. But no, using that and then doing a pre-spray and getting most of the crud off the car, right? And then wiping it down, and then we had to do like a complete decon of the car, and because it was covered in tree sap.
Decon means
decontamination.
So that's like
decondition,
clay bar, as you would think of it.
So when you clay, so like clay barring, for example, a lot of people don't know what a clay bar is. And a clay bar, you're basically taking a piece of clay made for detailing. You can also do this with
not like Play-Doh though.
Not like Play-Doh.
It's a little different.
It's made differently. And so what this does is it glides across the surface of paint, of clear coat, or whatever you're using on, and it pulls out contaminants embedded in the paint, because paint is porous at a microscopic level. So you do that, but unfortunately yours had a ton of tree sap all over the top.
I was just testing you. I figured.
I literally asked you, I'm like, is this parked under a tree? Like, this has never been parked under a tree.
Well, it's parked in the garage in the back.
But where there happens to be a tree in front of the garage.
No, because I don't park it outside here.
Do you think do you think it happened?
No, my previous house, I probably parked it outside. And we're talking like now a year and a half ago.
That makes sense.
Had some time to.
It's had some time
to
cure and cement its way onto the paint. But
you just want to make sure you had some fun stuff.
No, I've run it through car washes since, but
that's not gonna pull anything off. No, we had to use some solvent, basically break down, use some tar remover is what it is, and so break that down and pull that stuff off before we went to the polish. But the polish, it turned out really good, and so we ended up doing like a full. I wasn't going to do like a full 100% paint correction. It's not going to do some concourse level detail. I didn't have time for that. But I mean, honestly, it turned out 70 to 80% better than what it was.
Yeah, no, it looked great. It looks much better than it did.
I was happy with it, and after that, laid down some spray wax on there. It smells like pina colada, so that's a plus.
I stuffed that rag in my face.
You did. You tried to drink, and I was like, "Don't do that."
Oh yeah. You were about to right off the bat.
I was gonna Chris Farley that bottle of liquid, which I thought was water at first, and I'm glad I asked prior to spraying it in my mouth.
Because that would not be the
you're gonna get super sick, man. You're gonna have like Montezuma's revenge if you're not careful. But
look, if it's predictable, you can sell that.
As long as I have some time to.
As long as you know, like within 30 minutes, you're gonna be sitting on the can
on a stopwatch.
Yeah, like that. You could have a whole nother business right there. You could accidentally discover like crazy glue is a cure for battlefield wounds.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, holy shit.
Wait, it's not, because I've been using crazy glue on all sorts of wounds over the years.
Well, no, but I don't think it was designed. It was either designed for wounds, but then they realized it can work for everything.
Yeah.
Or it was designed for everything, and then they realized it could work for wounds. Like one of the things made it immensely popular.
Yeah. No.
And it wasn't intended. It was almost like an accidental invention.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah. That's kind of how it works. I think that's how it works with WD-40 and duct tape, right? Or not duct tape, but WD-40 for sure.
I used to watch Red Green Show. I know all about duct tape, but
but no. So after we did that, and then we got to go for a drive, and that was really cool because, kind of like you said, everything is really in the car when you're sitting in there. It's from that era. It's from it's from that time frame, and it's not super overboard. Like I think the gauge cluster on there, I think it looks like identical to an Acura Integra.
Yeah, it probably is like an analog
of the early 2000s. I'm laying there and I'm like, that's I think that's
your daily's a Civic, so you kind
of but I mean the TAC or the Espeedo goes up to like 160 or 180 in that car.
I think it goes 180.
I don't look. I know it's actually probably 180 because I know how long it takes once you get above like 120 in that car. It's you just
it's
like
kind of out of
you just grab
juice.
some popcorn and hang tight.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's to do like 150 in that car takes some runway, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, but no, it was really cool inside the car, and I really liked it. It sounded good too. I think it sounded really good, but I think it's just that blue, man. I
love the blue.
I love the blue.
It makes it like I feel like if it was a different color, I would probably have sold it by now. Especially with the values of those cars now, I would have been like, all right, whatever. I'll wait for a blue one.
It's that it's that blue. I think that's what it really does. I mean, everybody that was walking by, and that was the hard part. So we're actually out here for we were out here to obviously wash your car and detail your car. That's what we came out here.
You just happened to do it while you were out here. That was not the main purpose. I hope that was not the main purpose of coming across the country.
We had a detailer's domain thing.
Yeah, no, I'm just a wash boy that travels across the world, to different places. No, so we came out here for an event at Detailer's Domain, which is a big detailing place here in New Jersey, and so we had an event that was literally right next door to one of your shops that you have, and so it kind of worked out to where all of our friends, everybody's right next door. So we had equipment, we had all the stuff we needed to do this job, and it happened to pull it right over next door and knock it out. And so it was perfect. It couldn't have been any better as far as doing that stuff. But no, we were out here doing our East Coast tour, as we can say, and do a lot of our media stuff and visit.
Well, it's a first for us in the company. I mean, we're from Boise, Idaho, so it's kind of a little out of the way. But
it sounds like we're from Kansas when we say that. I'm just from a little town in Kansas.
I mean, Idaho is not near Kansas.
Well, so you know Idaho, the
Sun
Valley
Idaho,
right? So have you ever been to Idaho?
I've driven through Idaho. We did on our 2 trips ago. We did Adventure Drives 8003. We went through Glacier and then cut across Idaho, northern Idaho, over to Spokane. But I've also been pulled over in southern Idaho on my way back into Wyoming from Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that makes sense.
Well, glad it was a great impression.
That cop sucked. That was down in Porticello County.
Oh, okay.
I think
that's southern Idaho. That's
Pocatello.
That might have been
Pocatello.
Pocatello.
There's a town Pocatello down
There's
there.
No, I think it was Porticello. I'm fairly
I don't
familiar
even
with
know
it.
my own counties, and he's like,
Oh,
I'm very
yeah.
familiar with it. I had to pay a ticket.
Outside of Ada Canyon, it's kind of.
But no, it's So I know Idaho's a little bit different. So traveling out here and seeing all the East Coast stuff, like we thought we had trees and forest over there, dude. There's nothing.
You guys
there's
have
like
trees.
this is
Holy cow.
This is like Jurassic Park out here, and
Nice.
it's interesting to see all the deer we've almost hit and all the squirrels.
I was gonna say
like
and met a few deer along the way. So.
Oh yeah, dude. Almost killed Bambi a few times.
Ponticello.
Ponticello. Is that what it is?
Yeah, but you're pretending like that rings a bell now. It's a small
No.
town.
It definitely doesn't.
It's directly north and due west of Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Never heard of it.
Um,
Is it in Wyoming?
It's south. If you take the road that goes in the Big Sky, and just keep going south, it's about 2 inches north. It's actually east of Sun Valley and southeast of Sun Valley. It's.
I do know where that is.
It's off of 86 where Twin Falls is. So if
Okay.
you go east on 86, you'll catch it.
Hey, there we go. Learning more about my state every day. Wow.
Rob had to teach you.
It was
Yeah.
15 that we took. What do you want? A commercial break, Jimbo? You're doing the pen thing in the air.
We're doing a commercial?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a commercial.
Yeah. Okay. So that's enough Idaho for you guys. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So there's things you never want to do in the car world. You never want to not buy a car because you're afraid of the maintenance costs. And you also don't want to be fearful when you buy a car of driving it because you don't want to break it. Two of those things, it ruins the ownership experience. So how do you fix that? Well, there's a company called eAuto Warranty, and eAuto Warranty will sell you a warranty. You pay monthly just like you would for your car insurance, and it relieves the stress and anxiety of having a big maintenance repair. And that's something, I mean, they cover the smaller stuff too, but obviously that doesn't keep you up at night. The stuff that you're concerned about is a pilot bearing failure or something that everyone talks about as a possibility. And you're like, ooh, I don't want to have to pay for a transmission rebuild on that. Well, eAuto Warranty will cover it. So check it out. You can go to eautowarranty.com. You can enter your car in. You can get a free online quote, or you can enter a car you're interested in, or like, oh, one of those Maseratis I've always liked. See what it would cost. It may make sense to you. It may not, but it will allow you, if you do go ahead with it, to sleep easy at night. I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding here. I had a warranty that I was paying for 4 months, and they covered that means they made $300 off me, and they paid for a $2,400 repair. So it's good. It's nice to have. It's good to have in your back pocket if you ever need it. You don't have to renew it after the first year. You can just do it on a yearly basis. But I'm telling you, once you have it, you're going to love it. And especially when you get your money's worth out of that repair, you're going to be happy you made that choice. So check them out, eautowarranty.com. You can get a free quote for your vehicle or one that you're interested in purchasing. All right, and we're back. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed your little potty break and checking out my underwear. That was pretty cool. I mean,
got kind of weird for a minute
there.
there.
It got a little weird for a minute.
Yeah.
You didn't have to touch it. The whole point was just to look at it.
Well, you're like, you tell us how soft it is.
It was impressive. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk about, you're in the car industry. Because you're not selling rags for dusting your mom's fan in her room.
Well, actually, there's probably a couple rags for those that you could use.
But you don't market and sell those. You're automotive.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So that means you have to have an interest in automotive things. Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't be involved in it. No. What type of cars do you guys drive?
That's a good question.
I'd probably let you take off on
I'll
that
start,
one. My stuff's all weird.
I'll start first. Okay. All right. So I daily drive a 1999 Honda Civic EX.
Okay.
It's got the D16Y VTEC single overhead cam. It's a 5-speed manual on that bad boy.
Good.
I got it for $1,500.
Nice.
And it was the best $1,500 I ever spent.
How many miles on it?
There's 100, and I got it with 134,000. It hit 141 this year.
What, you get it a month ago?
No, I actually got it a year ago, and
I do more miles on my NSX.
Well, I know. I feel kind of bad, but no. So that's my daily driver. That's the kind of my get to work cheap type of.
What do you live next door to the?
I live. It's
like 20
minutes. It's about a 20-mile commute back and forth each day, so it's not bad. And then my other car that I have a 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9. And so it's the same graphite color as in your videos, the same Evo. So that's kind of
not the same Evo. Mine
not
was
the same
floating
Evo.
around in
Okay,
a
so
hurricane.
I hope it's not the same Evo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's some weird stuff going on. But no, it's that's my car. It's my it's kind of my I don't want to call it my baby, but it's definitely a car that I care about. I'm planning on keeping around.
What sort of horsepower?
It's a modest amount. So in the MR, right? Everybody knows the MR has the 6-speed manual versus the other Evos that have the 5-speed. And so with the MR, with the 6-speed, it's known as the more of the glass transmission. So you can only push so much torque before you're going to have issues with the transfer case and all sorts of different stuff. So I tell people if you keep it at a modest amount, that thing will run like a champ into the end of time. So I'm doing a modest 330 wheel horsepower and 330 wheel torque. So matched. Even
my favorite part about like modest reliable builds,
what is that?
They're really easy to beat.
Yeah.
And even if you pass me eventually, I'm gonna have a hell of a good time.
I'll pass you. Hopefully, if you're pulled over, with something that's overheated
or on fire. One of the two.
It's one of the two. And I'll pass and I'll honk and I'll wave politely and I'll say, "Hey, how's it going? Do you need a ride?"
And I'll be like holding up my little trophy that I keep in the trunk. Just be like, "Haha, this is because I beat you."
Yeah. No. It's a fun car. I've had that for almost 5 years now, and so a lot of people, you go above and beyond. A lot of people say, I want to build a 600, 700 wheel horsepower Evo, right?
We're building a reliable 600 wheel horsepower race car.
Absolutely, and I think, and that's where I don't know what it is. It's one of those things where I hate seeing a car being down. That's if that makes sense. Being in the build process. 'Cause I'm one of those people that I'm really impatient and really anxious. Like I need it and I need it now. So if I were to have a car that was being built, right, I send the head to a shop or I send the transfer case, send the transmission, it'll get built. Any of that downtime stresses me out. I don't like that. I like the fact that I can jump in my car, go drive it, and have fun in it. I'd rather break things first before I start sending stuff to get rebuilt, if that makes sense. That's kind of just how I am. But
that's how I was. Like I didn't replace the transmission, although I knew I would have had to build up the transmission. I waited till I bent the fork, and then of course I bent the fork in like a week, and I'm like, a son of a bitch.
Well, I'm just impatient that way, and I'd rather break it and then worry about it later than build it up before that. And so, so I have cars, but then I also commute and ride around on motorcycles as well. So I got a 2010 Triumph Speed Triple 1050. It's a cool bike, 3-cylinder, a lot of fun, total blast. And then I have Honda Grom. I have 125cc Honda Grom, and I don't care. You can shit on that bike all you want. It is the best investment I have ever made in my life.
You are such a liar.
No, it is. I swear
you just said the Civic was the best investment. Now
am I talking on my words? It's a Honda. It's a Honda. So let's not do that.
This
and
is
let's
the best
move on.
investment of my life.
Okay, so
this is the best.
That was the second best.
You are my
investment.
favorite girlfriend.
Best investment of 4 wheels.
Well,
best
yeah, I told all my girlfriends that. But so second best smaller investment on a motorcycle. I don't know how else you describe that, but it was $2,000 well spent. I got 5,000 miles on that bad boy, and I get 120 miles per gallon on that hog. I don't care what anybody says. I can pop some dank wheelies on that thing too. So it's fun. It's a good time. But Dane, what do you have? Dane's got a good little mix.
I don't know. I've always been the jalopnik guy, so I always got the weird stuff.
He likes weird stuff.
My first car was a Subaru SVX, so I had the DeLorean windows and the whole, Subaru trying to be, hey, here's a look in the future. Car. But you take the good with the bad, and it was not a fast car.
No.
Even.
It was a color. It was a pretty blue color though.
Yeah, it was actually really similar to the NSX over there.
It was
a little deeper, but similar. Anyway, though, what I got currently, I got a 92 Project Miata. It's an NA6, definitely not fast, but it's fun on the mountains. That's where
I'm a believer in Miatas.
So
though.
I bought it instead of buying a motorcycle. So it was either that or getting a bike like an SV650.
I think that Miatas are for motorcycle, or for people that are scared to buy a motorcycle and want like the closest thing to that.
I mean,
experience.
I did have to deal with my folks going like, "You bought a motorcycle?" Getting a little nervous. And
it's
like,
still
right,
just
as
sketchy. Like you get hit, you're gonna die in that thing. That's the thing.
Well,
you're gonna
I'm
die
in a Miata. I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna die in that thing. So there's that.
And would you rather say you died in a Miata, or would you rather say you died on a motorcycle?
I don't think anybody wants to say they
Well,
tied
I'm
me
just
up.
saying. I mean, one sounds a little.
To say either.
Yeah, well, one sounds a little more manly than the other in the
Yeah,
news
yeah.
story. So I'm just saying. So okay, so Miata, what else do you have?
So yeah, there's a 92 Miata. It's lower. It's like two-tone. It's red on top, black on bottom. Yeah. So it's a little rice boy Miata.
Yep.
It's fun though. But I got it for like
I've got a
$1,200
rice boy
bucks.
Miata.
So yeah, I've seen yours with the
That-
snowplow
yeah,
and all
that's-
that.
That's out back in the
So
grass.
I think mine might ride a little better than that.
I'm
one,
sure it
but-
does. Mine's beached.
It's on
Jim
KYB,
parked it in
so-
the back, and he's like, "I'm gonna just park it here behind the garage." And he's like, "Okay, it's stuck,
Never to be seen.
and it hasn't moved since that day."
And that's where that
Yeah.
car went.
Well,
So
what happened was I bought that car as a project to teach myself how to work on cars because that was my thing. I love cars, but I'll be honest, I didn't know how to work on them, and I wanted to actually learn something. So I figured Miata's mechanically simple, so you can figure that stuff out. Watch a few YouTube videos, and next thing you know, hey, I'm an expert. Well, at least
then
until I
parts-
get to a
yeah.
actual, more complicated car. But other than that, I've also got a 2006 Volvo V50 R Design that I just picked up just a couple months ago. I bought it because it gives me the exotic car sound with the 5-cylinder that I wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. So for like $8,000, I was able to pick this thing up. It's got the 6-speed manual though.
Okay.
From
It is
the R.
the-
So
they
it's
are the
actually
safest cars, too.
It sounds great, and at least in that one, if I get hit, I probably won't die. So there's
True.
that. It gets a lot of looks though because
You're afraid to go outside, aren't you?
He's
Actually,
You know,
he's the
if-
OCD
yeah.
one.
He's actually a very cautious driver, and
Yeah,
Man,
so
no
I'm
falls
the-
on me today.
I'm
I
the
may
granny.
die.
Yeah.
so no, he's a cautious driver. And you also have
Yeah.
a Ford C-Max.
I have a Ford C-Max, a 2040. I saw you driving around in your Volt, and I'm like, okay, I'm not alone in the whole hybrid game. But
Oh yeah, I just
Yeah.
drive a
it's just a thing to get you
wimpy-ass
places.
car,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a 620
It's got good
mile
Bluetooth.
range, so,
It's got
yeah.
like touch screen. It's like it's just
Heated
easy. It's
seats. It's got all
So-
these nice.
heated seats,
Yeah.
heated steering wheel, and it was $270 a month, which is what I pay for my cell phone.
Yeah,
So that's
I'm
that.
looking
So-
at like 170 a month for mine.
Yeah.
So it's a
The
no-brainer
i3, I
for
hear you
that.
can get them for like $70 or
God,
$80
those are
a
dirt
month,
cheap, but they're.
but they suck.
I was gonna say, but they suck.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's like driving like a sort of like a modded bicycle golf cart, and like nobody wants to do
Well,
that.
yeah, you got that weird skinny
The
profile.
skinny
and the-
tires, yeah, it just that.
Oh
turns me
yeah,
off.
when you see somebody turn the wheel and you see that those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
are actually like bike tires. It's
yeah,
crazy.
they're very thin. They're like
Yeah.
125s.
Oh, really skinny. Yeah.
So,
No,
so what
so
is
that
that off
throws
a
me.
Model T? Like those are back in
It's
production.
like those are new again.
yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's, I mean, I'd say that's pretty much kind of like our car background, but we're definitely car people. We like
Sure.
we like everything cars, and so that's why when we do our shows and when we sell towels to people that are into cars, it's more exciting that way. And so we do have a little storefront at our place back in Boise where it's just for local stuff, local sales only, just so people don't have to come in and say, hey, I can I pick up my order that
Sure.
I bought online and just not ship it. So we have a little storefront there, and we're always pumped when we see people with cars pull up, and we get to see a bunch of cool different things and getting to work with a lot of the other cool exotic car dealers that we have. We have two there in Boise. I know it's a whole lot
Sure.
of competition for you if you're going to move
Yeah.
there. Don't move there. It's a terrible place. So we'll see some cool cars, and when they pull in, we get excited because we say, hey, obviously it's a cool car. This is a way that we can surround ourselves with these things involving just car care, and that's generally what it is. But I want to know, Rob, what are your thoughts on car care and detailing? Just say it how it is. What do you,
I mean,
Do your worst.
do your
I'm
worst.
all for professionals going in and
Okay.
like cleaning stuff up. I think it's important in maintaining the value of your car, especially when it comes time to sell or trade it.
Yeah.
And I think
It's like protecting an investment, right?
Well, yeah, I think a proper detail on any car, it's like the first thing a wholesaler or a dealer will do when they take in a car is they'll spend a couple $100 and do like this crazy makeover, and the car looks completely different, like my
Yeah.
NSX did.
You get a few more thousands out of it usually.
Potentially, yeah,
Yeah.
on the bigger cars. But on a daily, weekly basis, I find it prohibitive as far as getting in the way of me enjoying my ownership.
Yeah.
Like, I like having my car clean. If there was like a magic way to pull it in the garage, like I don't go out to get them dirty, but I don't have time to clean them. I don't I'll just park it in the garage, and when I'm ready to go out again, I'll either drive it through a car wash or a hand wash or something like that. But I don't go out of my way to like make sure it's clean. I won't not drive the car because it's
Mhm.
not clean. That's not where I get my enjoyment. I mean, my enjoyment in cars is me in a car on a fun road with nobody around. I don't
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't bring my cars to Starbucks. this house I'm getting knocked down. I live in an apartment up the road. I've not once brought any of my like fancy cars over to the apartment. It just doesn't I don't need to show off like that's the guy with the fancy car. And like I catch myself from time to time like driving back. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta turn around and drop this car off. And it's just one of those things. It doesn't serve a purpose for me. I belong to a country club up the road. I don't go get a fancy car to go to lunch at the country club. If I'm driving a $500 Mercedes, I'm going to pull up in a $500 Mercedes. I really that's not. I don't don't care so much about the looks, more the functionality. And even when I was down at LG Motorsports, they were talking about with finishing up my car, they're like, I want to pretty this stuff up. I can make it look really nice. And I'm like, I don't care about being pretty. It's a race car. Like I just want it to work. I'm like, if it like helps you sleep at night and you want to like sign the engine or something like that and make it pretty, knock yourself out. But don't do it on my behalf. Like I don't mind having a pretty engine, but I don't need it by any stretch of the imagination. I just need functional. And Lou says the same thing. I'm like, yeah, he races cars too. Like, I get the quality craftsmanship, and I get that it's really cool to have like a cool bling engine bay, especially when you got a bunch of custom stuff going on. But for me, it's not a necessity or a requirement. Yeah.
Well, I think, I mean, and I don't know how else to say this without like saying it in a bad way, but I think that's detailing and having that eye for detailing and I guess gloss and swirl free finishes and things like that. I tell people it's kind of a curse and a blessing because it's cool, being able to receive compliments when somebody says, "Hey, that's a really clean car," or "Your car's that's really shiny. The paint looks really good." But at the same time, that gives you this feeling of, oh, well, now I have to always have this perfect car, or I need to always stay up on it, and it's like that
more pressure for yourself.
And it's just a more pressure thing. It's like a big rabbit hole because you're like, well, now I feel self-conscious bringing this dirty car out to this show, right? Because now everybody knows I have this nice clean car, this new car I picked up, and they're expecting it to be clean, right? Sure. And if you don't care about that, that shouldn't be a priority. You don't have to care about what other people think, right?
There's freedom in that,
and there is freedom in that. But then there's people out there, which we deal with a lot of these people who really like detailing helps them. It's like an OCD. I don't know how it
quite literally therapy for
it's
some
like a
guys.
therapy.
They can't drive a dirty car. It's just impossible for them.
It's that, or the fact that it's like cleaning things, right? Like I'll straight up, I hate cleaning my house. I hate it more than anything, right? But I like detailing my car. I like cleaning my car. I like taking a towel and wiping. You used a towel today and you were wiping. You're like, oh, this smells good. It feels smooth, right? I like that feeling. I think it's cool. And I like looking at the result after I'm done with it, right?
Your fiance wishes the whole thing was reversed.
Yeah, but my fiance, she gets pissed at me because she says, well, why don't you do that with the kitchen stove, right? Why don't you sit there with a brush and and wax and polish, and everything.
Do I look like a housewife?
and
really? Am I wearing the dress, the polka dot dress? No, you are.
So I don't want her to listen to this and put my foot in my mouth, but you know what I mean? Yeah. So like it's one of those things.
Sorry, he told me to say that.
I would never do that. I would never go out and polish a stove, or I would never go and nitpick my hardwood floors and buff that's just not something I would do. That's not what I'm interested in. Yeah. And I don't, that doesn't make me happy. Whereas the whole car thing, it's like a manly car, taking, doing things with my car, doing things with something that I like to drive and I like to do things with. It's like a friend. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like I'd rather hang out with my car than hang out with my towel. I actually have a few of those as well, but no, I
don't want to hear about your personal towel.
I don't know what road that goes down, but
are you sure? I can talk more about that. No, so it's just one of those things. Like I feel a connection with my car. And
I have a private date with my towel, I like to put on my sheath underwear.
What up?
Yeah,
super soft. It's really nice. We're actually coming out.
It smells like coconuts.
We should talk to Sheath maybe about making some microfiber underwear and make them super soft and absorbent. But we'll save that for later.
Absorbent? Do you want it to be absorbent?
I don't know. Maybe.
What is this for 70-plus-year-old people? Like, hey, your balls instead of rubbing along the floor.
I feel like we opened a door for Sheath, and we're willing to talk. Email me, and we'll make something happen. But no, so I think there's just people out there. Like there's a couple YouTube channels out there of people that are just really obsessed about cleaning their cars, right? And people like watching them clean their car. and that's therapeutic for them.
Yeah, but doesn't that like get old? Like I don't want to
You
watch
would-
somebody. I
you
don't
would
want to
think
clean
that.
my own car. Like let alone
You
watch
would-
somebody clean theirs.
You would think that, right? That's something that you would say. I don't want to watch this, right? But there's people
Logically,
that will watch the
doesn't-
full process of somebody cleaning a car and be like, "Wow, that was really satisfying." You know,
and then you go
they'll-
and find another one, and the next time they do it, and the next time, and it's more or less the same thing, just variations on a theme. And
Well, I tried finding videos of people cleaning their kitchen stoves, and I tried to show my fiance, and I said, "That's not a thing. This isn't. I can't get famous off of this. So it has to be cars.
you
so
can make it a thing.
so
That's up to you. Yeah.
But so
Everybody's got a stove. Not everybody's got a car.
New niche.
that
Bam.
I
All right.
maybe I think so. I think that could be
Cooking
true.
shows. You're all up in
We're,
that.
we're the
Yeah.
after cooking show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's kind of where I'm at on that. But I like hearing other people's perspective, right? You can appreciate when your car gets detailed, but it's not something that you're going to go out and do, and you like to leave that to the professionals. And so,
But I also wait until like somebody calls me,
yeah,
or I wait till I'm like ready to sell the car and I clean it for the
Well,
next
and
guy.
that's usually when people who otherwise have no interest in detailing, they suddenly go, maybe I need to get this detailed, and then it clicks.
I'm not wearing my watch, but my other watch is all smashed up for the most part. Like I just like it's like a watch. It bangs on things. And
Yeah.
like if I like if you have something that you're so afraid to get damaged or dirty, then you shouldn't really have it. It's now counterproductive because you're not able to enjoy it because you're too concerned with it, with like either losing it or damaging it or breaking it, and it's not.
Well, that's why I bug you to drive your Evo more. So
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think
You
it's
just hit it
one-
with
I-
some nitrous when you're
Yeah,
not looking. Little
yeah.
gas pedal switch.
Yeah.
Holy
I'm
shit.
oh, shit.
I'm
what-
tired
what
of seeing the
just- what
Civic.
just-
I want
what
to see the
just
Evo in the
happened?
parking
But
lot.
I think you're right though. I think that kind of stuff will hold somebody back, right, in life from maybe doing something better with their time, right, or maybe something that they could do and be more productive. And I mean, I don't know, but it's all
Whatever that looks like.
It's whatever that looks like and whatever that is for the person, because there's a guy out there who's made a YouTube channel and been extremely successful by making videos of him washing a car.
Sure.
Right? And he's successful. And it's awesome. I think that's amazing. And I
Well,
say
and he even didn't think it was going to work out that
and
way.
you
but-
did that literally just making a video of you washing a car, and you are now extremely successful. You have a booming business all around this whole thing.
Sure.
And so I think it's whatever pushes you forward. I guess whatever
I
motivates
think
you.
YouTube is big into the personalities. If you entertain them, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're sewing. It doesn't matter if you're talking politics. If people either find you hot or entertaining or the magic
I want to
both,
see that guy
then
do stuff.
The
yeah,
magic of
they're
both,
they're
yeah.
watching that guy or girl.
Yeah.
And that's what makes YouTube such a great platform, is that anyone can attempt and put themselves out there.
If they
And
attempt.
you either pass fail. And a lot of people that come to me and say, like, how do I become successful on YouTube? Check out my videos. And you watch and you're like, it breaks your heart, but you're like,
it's
you're not going to be.
Gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Like I know even all of our first videos suck, but you can see there's like hints of like, okay, I see something there.
There's a
Like
good
I can
kernel of
see
something
why.
there.
Yeah, I can see why you can turn that into popcorn.
Yeah.
But then there's people that are like, you're just in the wrong business, dude. Like that's not gonna work, and it's tough for people to accept that.
No, I agree. I've seen people with that have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, right? And it's just nothing is sticking, right? Nothing. Yeah. They're not getting blessed by the YouTube gods and on any of these videos. But on the other hand, I've also seen some people who have made a couple videos, right? And I'm like, holy crap, dude, you're either hilarious or you have a perfect personality for this, but they don't get their I guess
they're not consistent.
They're not consistent enough, or they don't know much other than about the social media stuff, about changing out thumbnails, making titles and things like that, and they don't know much about that. Their video says test video 1 on it or something like that, and they upload it, and then I watch it and I say, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. You should keep doing these. Just get better at your SEO, get better at your pictures and things like that. And they never do. And I guess it's all about just putting yourself out there, trying to attempt it, try it, see how it works. But it's pretty cool that you can do just about anything. And
yeah, and that's what's cool about YouTube. It's like it's your television, essentially.
Literally, microfiber underwear. It's going to be a thing.
It's going to be a thing. I want you to market that. I think
I'm going to
that'll
make an
work well.
If we don't do it,
Super absorbent, super nice. We're not going to get back into that right now.
Yeah. What dream cars? Do you guys have anything that you've always wanted? Cars from your youth, cars from the future, car prototypes, just general awesomeness?
We did ride in one, a few weeks ago. That was a childhood dream car, Porsche 959.
That's a cool car.
Yeah. That was a cool car.
Dane was in love. He was walking around. He was caressing it with a towel. I'm like, Dane, you can't do this right
Well,
here.
It was that classic silver on the outside, and then it had that wine-colored interior. I mean, it was really 80s, but it looked like that ski jacket kind of thing. It was... that car for me.
I hear a very. Did you have to borrow one of his special towels for that?
I think he did.
It just.
He had to borrow one of the good ones.
Didn't give him that one back. Yeah, no, that sounds like a pretty.
That's a special.
Dane, I need that towel back.
Yeah,
I can't.
You don't want it back.
I can't give you this one. Well, why not? Hurry up and give it to me. Why is this smearing like this?
We just take it to the next level.
I went there. So, anyways, moving on. So we No, we all have like our own. I guess we all have our own niches of dream cars, right? Like I'm totally on that tuner level of things, right? But I'm on that cleaner tuner level of things. I'm not into the whole stance thing.
Better not be like a 300ZX or something like that.
No, it's not a It's not a 300ZX. It's more basic than that. So no, I would really like to own someday, if I can own like an R34 GTR. I would like that.
That's fair enough.
I know that's a ton of people's dream cars, but I think it's just a really good looking, aggressive car, and I feel like it'd be something I'd like to own. But in the same aspect of things, though, there's a lot of people around the world that maybe have access to those that want to own an Evo, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird, it's a weird trade-off.
Well, it's like anything. It's you just get tired of something after you've had it for a while. So the problem with a lot of dream cars is like you really build up your expectations. Yeah. And it's funny how cars like the RX-7 and the Supras and the R33s, 34s. People are like trying to drive up the prices on the stock ones. Yeah. And I'm like, you ever driven a stock Supra? These things fucking suck. Like, oh yeah, you want to feel what 320 engine horsepower feels like? That's not what made the car famous. What made the car famous is the fact that it could do 200 miles an hour in 4 seconds. And like, I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme, but you should at least like have the modified cars should be like, oh cool, you just saved me some trouble. And those cars should carry a higher value. RX-7s, I mean, we're not talking about cars that are capable of becoming like a Corvette. The platform can hold more horsepower, but people want stock ones because it was quick enough. It was like a well-rounded car. You don't need to put a blower and nitrous and a roll cage in it to make it appealing. But the other ones, they actually, like, and even an NSX, you don't want to modify it. But the Supras, the RX-7s, cars, even the R34 GTRs, the 35 GTRs, those are cars that the reason people have them is because they're able to go so freaking fast. Yeah. And even the older Porsches, people don't mind the upgraded turbos and the bigger turbos. So it's really weird to see people steer away and say, like, I really want that car in stock trim, and then they modify it. I'm like, what the frick is the point in paying
you're
for
taking
stock?
Someone else's stock experience away if you're taking a nice stock one and doing that anyway. Find a modded one and just mod it some more.
Yeah, I think if you jump to the modified realm, right, for the people that can appreciate that and appreciate, if there is a price markup in that's worth it. I like those tasteful mods, right? I'm a huge fan of tasteful mods, and I can eye that, right? If you're,
like the chrome screws,
I like
hex bolts on
the wheel arch.
Absolutely, I like those. I like I like
stickers inside the lettering.
Yeah, I like when they 3M some fender flares on it and just stick those bad boys on. Don't actually cut that. So I think tasteful mods and people that can appreciate those, because I'll see classifieds all the time. I'll see a vehicle and I'll see some mods where I'm like, that's questionable, but then I'll see a different car and I'll say, that guy did everything right. Yeah, that guy did he put the nicest the nicest stuff in the game on that vehicle, but he's asking a lower price, or he's asking the same price, and it just makes it more valuable to me.
What's the one mod you've done that you regret doing?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
There's got to be one.
There's got to be one that sticks out there, like, oh yeah, that was stupid.
I can tell you right
now.
Okay.
Oh, I can actually. No, I can tell you right now what my first mod was. My first mod was on my first car. Was a '96 Civic hatchback, And I wanted an exhaust more than anything when I was 16, right? I wanted more than anything in the world. So I went over to a friend's house, which was it was a really hillbilly situation. I grabbed a Sawzall, sawed off the muffler, right? Went down to my local AutoZone, bought whatever tip thing I could find there, right? But it happened to be like a full thing, and I got a bunch of those horribly made clamps, right? So I tried to clamp on the exhaust on there, and I wrenched it so hard, and I torqued it down so hard, ended up bending the piping on everything, right? Caved everything in. So right when you started the car, basically you had all this escape coming out of both ends of the piping, and it was the worst sounding thing in the world. But I was so proud of that thing. I was just like, I did it. I put on this exhaust, not knowing that I could have gone on eBay and bought a $100 catback, and thrown it on. That looked probably better, fit better. I grabbed to hang it. I grabbed it was a bunch of that. Like I'd say it's like a strip. It's like a roll of metal with a bunch of little holes in it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like a cheese board a cheese board strip.
It's
I know what you're talking about.
That was my exhaust hanger. I basically just wrapped that up, right?
It works.
Bolted that up.
Throw a zip tie in the bottom of it and you got it.
Had the worst rattle in the world, but I was like, I did it, guys. My first mod. I've done it. I was only 16, so
officially a tuner at that point.
I mean, I when I sold, my parents gave me a Pontiac Bonneville. It was garbage. It was a 88 Pontiac Bonneville. I got it in 98, and I think I sold it in like 99 or something like that. Or I got it in 97, sold it in 99 when I got a V6 Camaro. But I wanted to like be a nice guy. Somebody bought it for $1,000, $1,500, whatever it was worth at the time, and I wanted to change the oil. So like I go down to my grandfather's yard and I start pouring oil in it, and like I drain the other oil, and I keep looking in, and I'm like, I don't see the oil, and I didn't see where the dipstick was. So I just kept filling it up till the head was filled with oil. And nice. I think I put like 11 or 12 quarts of oil on top of the car that already had oil. I mean, you're talking a little V6 engine with like 16 or 18 quarts of oil in it. I mean, like when it starts smoking eventually, I mean, he's going to go to the store. They're going to drain it. Their tank is going to overflow while they're draining the oil out of it. But like it's stuff like that. We've all done dumb things when we were young.
I think, and I think that's what it helps you learn, right? And I said to myself after I did that and realized, looking back, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever gonna do anything that that rigged up again, unless it's for fun, or unless I'm doing it for fun, or unless I don't. Well, there's actually no other reason. It'd have to be for fun, because once you have that education, you're like, I'm not that dumb. I'm not gonna go back and do that again, obviously. But no, that was it's. I think that's where learning on cars and things like that. No matter where you start, I say always try to start young and on something cheap, right?
Yep.
Dane, good on you for buying a $1,200 Miata or whatever.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Yeah,
that was a lesson, man.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to buy something that you're okay throwing in the garbage, and that's for learning stick and everything like that. Like I learned stick on my Corvette. That was probably like I never drove stick before I went and picked the car up at the dealership.
Oh, really? Okay.
And but I knew I wanted stick, and then like my uncle came with me. He knew how to drive stick, so I'm like, you drive it out, so I don't like stall it in front of the dealership. And he gave me like a quick little lesson. We went to a parking lot, and then he's like, and then we drove him home, and then next thing you know, he's like, all right, see you tomorrow. Let me know if you have any trouble getting home. And I figured this shit out, and that's really how you do it. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Miata was. I bought that too, so I have a daily driver with a stick that I could actually force myself to get used to the concept of, here's a clutch. The guy before me put a race clutch in it. Totally unnecessary for 100 horsepower. So I don't know why he did that. It's like, it makes it faster. No, it doesn't. It's a clutch. But it's one of those things where you figure that stuff out and you force yourself to kind of acclimate to it.
Sure.
Next thing you know, you're figuring it out, and it's not bad for $1,200. I mean,
well, $1,200. That's the whole thing. Like it sucks because you end up putting money into those cars.
Yeah, well,
and you'll spend $3,000 in like 3 years, and you're like, fuck, now I'm into this car for like $5,000. But if you look at it as like it's a free car and you're just paying for maintenance, even if you get your $1,200 back out of it, you're up in the air for just maintenance expense.
Well, we all see those people, those kids that get into cars, right? And they buy their first car, and you start seeing them on whatever on Facebook and things like that, and they're posting all these updates and stuff. And you as a person, you're like, I've been there before. You're making pretty bad choices. You should just take all that money you're putting and just go buy what you want, or go buy something a little bit nicer than that, right? Don't turbo something that's not supposed to be turboed. Go buy something that's meant to be, that has a turbo stock, and go from there. And you'll see that, and you have to think, well, that's a learning experience for that
they've
person.
got to go through.
They actually have to go through.
You have
that.
to watch your kid fall. They're not just going to go start running around. You got to watch them trip and fall.
You have to let it go. So no matter what you say, right? People can hate on it all day, and that person will defend themselves. And they say, "Well, I don't have money to go and do that." And I say, "Well, that's what loans are for." Or there's other ways around this, but you have to say, "Okay, all right."
When you add it up, I mean, if you look at how much money I spent in what period of time on my Corvette, modding it all along the way, fixing it all along the way. I could have spent that same money on something that would still be worth significantly more than my Corvette. I could have probably gotten a Lamborghini Diablo. Or I'm not joking. I've got so much money that I put into that car in 10 years that I could have easily had something that had a value versus something that I can't sell because, I mean, although I've gotten solid offers and I turned it down, but that car, if it was anyone else's, would not be worth anything. Your baby that you dump $100,000-$200,000 into isn't worth $100,000-$200,000 to people.
No.
Yeah.
Like Rob Dahm, I think, is putting $200,000 plus into his RX-7.
That thing is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to be worth anything. It's not like it's going to be a $200,000-$300,000 car. I mean, it's really tough. And even with this Evo, it's tough to go spend $20,000 to make a car that I know is going to be worth $15,000 when we're done with it.
Yeah. And that is hard. And that's why I tell people. I mean, I don't know. I don't tell people this. I just kind of watch. And I have my own opinion, and I just think that if you're going to put that much money, maybe keep it. Don't get rid of it.
That's the thing, and then you
hold
force
on to
yourself to have to keep it.
Yeah,
and it's better off that way. And you go to sell it. There's way too many people out there that just lose money on modding things over and over and over again. And I think
Instagram has made that worse.
Yeah, I think Instagram has made that worse. I think Instagram, for example, drives people to go even more in depth on modding and get really crazy with it.
That guy's doing this. I got it. Yeah.
And they're literally doing it for Instagram. They're doing it just for the feed. And I'm like, if you keep that up, man, you're gonna be in quite the pit here pretty soon. But it's interesting to watch. But like you said, I think people need to fall a couple times.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's just like. It's the wrong thing to do, but people still, they do it. And you just have to let them do it. But that's why, even with the stance cars, the donk cars, there's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
it's not a good use of money, and I don't have to follow along, but I do acknowledge that, I get it, because I've been there.
Yeah.
They have their place, so
and there's always going to be a fad in every car scene for a period of time. I'm actually really surprised that the stance stuff has stuck around for as long as it has. I mean, to be honest.
But I agree. But I still have that same thing where I think why would anyone buy a Ferrari when you can just buy a Camaro and modify it and it's even faster than a Ferrari?
Yeah.
And I didn't get it at the time, and now I'm like, oh shit, that makes much more sense. Why would I want 3 Camaros when I can have 1 Ferrari?
Yeah.
And then when you are able to afford it and make that decision, the thought process changes from when it's a pipe dream. Why would I own a Koenigsegg when I can own a Ferrari, a Ford GT, a Lamborghini, and a Porsche?
Yeah.
And the answer is because I can't afford a Koenigsegg right now. Yeah. And if
I could,
then I'd probably say I get the Koenigsegg instead. But again, it is what it is. Cool. Yeah, I think we're good. I appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you had fun talking.
Yeah.
You want to drop the product plugs? Where do we go to find you guys?
All right, lay it on them.
All right, so you can check out basically all of our towels, right? Everything except for microfiber underwear. You can check that out at www.theragcompany.com. You guys can check us out on our social media channels like YouTube to see the video we did with Rob here in the next month. We'll get that up. And we have our Instagram as well, which we try to make towels fun, as fun as we can. We do giveaways every week, which are really fun. And other than that, though, that's kind of how to keep up with us. We have a podcast as well. You can check us out at Shout Engine.
The Rag Company Podcast. Yeah. Not too hard to find. So, that's pretty much it.
That's us, man. We appreciate it. This has been fun.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming out. Thank you to the sponsors for making this possible. And we appreciate everybody that watches the podcast. And that's podcast 62 in the books. We will catch you next time or next week. And maybe we'll have Glenn back. What do you think?